afternoon, everyone. Another episode today with the guest, Brandon. Brandon is CEO of Torok Music, and it's been a while, and he's going to talk about all his history and journey until today. Brandon, thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
Hi, Julio. Everything's going well here. Everything's, just going super well, busy, grinding, everything. And yourself?
Yeah, very good, very good. So thank you for joining us today. Very appreciated. So, Brendan, for people who don't know you, how you describe your journey? I mean, how did this all started? Was it from child? Was it when you were a bit more grown up and you decided you want to go into music? How was
Yeah.
it? How was it?
Yeah, thank you for having me here to kind of explain my story. And it started as a child, honestly. The routes and the roots of my dad. He was a DJ, and he would travel locally across where we lived 2-3 hours. And I remember going to the hotels with him and going on the car rides, and he'd be testing out his mixes on the way. So I had that influence at a young age of dance music and house music, kind of the culture. So I had the sound for it. And then, because my background is Hungarian and Greek, we had Hungarian parties. So I would take control of the lights and the fog machines and stuff while my dad's mixing. So, to have that at a young age, I was really influenced by entertainment, by kind of everything that the show business would perform. So from there, at the age of 14, I started DJing and basically wanting to, figure it out on my own, how to blend the tracks, how to mix everything so I can get not only a crowd going, but so everything flowed. And so there was a story to tell, and it wasn't just music coming in and out. So that was something that I think I had already kind of in me growing up with my dad. So I kind of had that flow already instilled in me at a young age, which was easy for me to kind of portray that and keep that passion alive, because it's something I always wanted to do. I always loved looking for new music. I always loved going to Beatport, checking out Tiesto, David Guetta, Armin van Buuren, what are they releasing, and they're ultimately my idols. So looking up to them and their tracks and seeing how they move in the industry, it's quite remarkable. So yeah, it started from a young age, and now it's just something I live for.
So, did you start producing just from moment one, or you were immediately just DJ and then you produced before? How was it?
I DJ'd for about 3 years, so 14 to 17. And then at the age of 17, I'm like, you know what? I really want to start learning the tracks that I'm playing. So I took on the massive toll of learning production, learning some instruments. At 15, 16, I did start learning drums. I took drum lessons. So I had the background of rhythm and kind of the basics of dynamics of drum patterns and flow. So it can really help me rhythmically while producing music. So from there, I built my inspiration and just grinded like for days and years, probably till I was about 21. And then I started kind of getting somewhere with my production where I'm like, okay, this kind of sounds all right now. I'm getting a track, I'm getting some structure made. I think this is something that I can start showing. And then I basically, I joined a community called No Face, which helps me kind of structure my brand, structure my beginning as an artist. And I worked for them after graduating from school. So while learning production, while DJing, and while, going through college, university, and living a social life, I was still trying to produce and still live my dream. So once I found this community, it gave me an outlet for somebody to actually listen to my music.
Sure.
So to provide feedback. And that's one of the biggest things that artists need, that everyone's just wondering how their track sounds, if it's, able to be picked up, if a record label will like it, if, a new movie could pick it up. You never know. But everyone's looking for feedback and just advice. So I was in that same headspace, and I found that community. I worked for them. I initially helped Max Vangeli and his record label kind of start from the beginning as a marketing perspective, figuring out a little bit of touring and distribution. So we would sign tracks from other artists that would send their music in. We would then, draft up a contract. We would make cover arts. We would then put it through a distribution channel, so it's on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, basically all the channels. And we kind of were self-taught that, and
Right.
going through the motions of, okay, this is what you need as an artist, or this is what you need for a record label, to have your music covered on all spectrums, between publishing, if your record label, what the deals are, what your, society, your, your general rights collections are. There's lots involved that a lot of people don't know until they're kind of facing I'm not going to call them situations, but facing
Right.
the opportunities, right, as they come. And you work together collaboratively, you work together kind of to figure it out amongst your team and amongst your group. So that was a big learning curve, and that was kind of my big introduction into the business of the music industry, which was amazing. Many great memories there, and comes with also good times and good memories. I think
Sure.
there comes a point where you have to kind of focus on what your mission is and what your journey is. And I believe my time was up there, and I had to focus on a new kind of perspective and a new lens to kind of help more artists, to kind of give back to not only No Face, but to maybe other labels, and to give my expertise to, a wide range of kind of interests that I personally like,
Yeah.
and that I really find myself have interest in. So that's how the journey has evolved since my passion for this.
So, from all the recent tracks that you have produced, how did you got? I mean, you mentioned that you got inspiration from other DJs, but what else you have put it in to make it like different? Because your tracks really have a differentiality from the usual songs that people actually hear. How did you accomplish to produce them and publish them?
I think using a collaborative approach, I always looked for vocalists and a good kind of team that could write and structure a whole track. So, for instance, we did a track with a very talented singer, Serena Blue. It's called Light My Fire with Van Snyder. That track was supported by David Guetta, was played all over Europe in his radio shows. And that track specifically, and all my tracks, I like to have energy and groove at the same time.
Yeah.
And creating a vocal hook that will be easily resonate, like that an audience can resonate very easily. And somebody can groove with, somebody can, actually portray the vocals, can hear it and be like, okay, I can go to this. This gives me a sense of emotion or feeling. So that's kind of my main objective when I'm producing a track, when I'm thinking of my mission of, what's the feel, what's my overall objective of how I want my audience to take it. Do I want them to feel kind of emotion, sit back and, like feel their vibe, or do I want them to feel upbeat and feel the beat more and, put their hands up? And there's different kinds of levels to production, and I'm experimenting a little bit because I was more so in the big room main stage sound, which I love, and that will always be a sound of mine. But I like also minimal deep house, Afro house, tech house kind of sounds that can blend very well for beach clubs and, kind of relaxed atmospheres instead of festival stages and big crowds all the time. So
what were the most significant tracks, apart from the one that we already mentioned, that were published and used in important events?
Free-Fallin was a big one. That one was a mashup with a David Guetta, his massive track Titanium, and Morton. They did a remix back in I want to say 2019 or 2020 of that track, and it was a future rave. And then another artist heard that track and my track and thought it would be great to blend in the vocals of it, because it was a little bit more upbeat, was a little bit more futuristic sound with my drop, and he mashed it up. So once he did a mashup of the two tracks, the David Guetta and Morton track and my track with Van Snyder, it basically took off, and a lot of DJs started supporting it. Ultra Japan, EDC Las Vegas, EDC in Creamfields, also Lollapalooza in Chicago, United States, a massive festival. So it kind of just took storm, just because I think the momentum of the track, it was a really good uplifting energy, just groovy track that you just kind of had to dance to, and it worked really well. And we're happy with the success of it. We're getting close to 200,000 streams on it, so it's doing quite well. Been supported by a lot of DJs. So
in global, you have already going on almost 500,000 listeners. You have been streamed almost 1 million times, and you have 157K hours of being used, and over 172 countries. That's completely, really a high standard record. I mean, to get into this and to achieve this, what were the encounters that you obviously faced until you achieved this result? And what will be your advices also for other fellow DJs that are facing, these limitations or consequences to not achieving their goal? I mean, obviously you overcome all that. What advice and how did you do to get where you are today?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's taken. I've released music now for 4 years, so to have those stats within the last 4 years is mind blowing, and it's a matter of finding the right connections, having the right craft of music. So if you're producing hip hop, or if you're producing dance pop music or country music, you want to figure out your target market and basically go after them. Figure out, YouTube channels or Spotify playlists that could generate views or awareness from your track. If there's a channel that's supporting new artists, or wanting to showcase a new track and upcoming discoveries, send them your music, give them a quick pitch, give them an email, say, hey, I just released this is my new track, and I think it would fit perfect for the style that you're looking for.
Sure.
For me, my whole foundation of releasing music started from marketing and figuring out how to push it out to the world. So for me, I would spend countless hours on Spotify, specifically that platform, because clubs, promoters, agencies, different artist groups are looking for your numbers. They want to know your Spotify numbers. So that was my main focus, was to go on Spotify and just start searching keywords, gym, EDM, dance music, pop music, and start looking through every single playlist, all the users, try and
Right.
figure out who they are, try and build that connection with, that fan who is creating a platform for other fans to go to and find similar music. And I think, for artists, you want to place yourself in front of them so that they know who you are, who
Yeah.
your artist brand is, what your face is, and give them an opportunity to, see your music and see your talent, right? It's all a matter of putting yourself in front of those people and giving yourself the exposure that it deserves. You know, and there's like 8,000 songs or more being released on Spotify a day. So to differentiate yourself from, the rest of the world and the rest of the market, you have to put that groundwork in. You have to find those contacts. You have to work with reputable agencies and people who actually, are guaranteed to provide you a service or a platform that you're getting something real. Because in this industry, the main problem and the main issue is people can't trust agencies or platforms that can give views or streams. And the only way to build that trust and to build that rapport is by showing them, this is what I have, this is what I've done, this is kind of the stats that I can do. And you will, like, once you test it out for yourself, you can see the results it delivers. But me owning my own agency, starting it up, almost 10 years ago, building this up and doing this from when I really started production, was the key element to getting my music out to the world. Once I had my DJ contact list,
Right.
once I have my Spotify contact list, my YouTube, once you have your main list and your main audience ready, then you can start, displaying your music, and that's your main key to market yourself. I mean, there's a lot more other things, but
Basically, what you've done is basically market research for a differentiality audience for you to enable to you to produce something that was different from majority of market. So this way you have like a market share specific for yourself according to what you're going to produce to that audience, correct?
absolutely. Yeah, like when you do that market research and you realize, okay, this is me as an artist, I want to start releasing deep house or more energetic kind of styles of music or relaxing. You can create your own network within yourself by, doing ads, by connecting your platforms to Spotify and linking everything together. So your network is now one fan base where they know they're going to see Torok and they're going to see, okay, other styles of good dance music here. There's going to be relevant artists who we also like here. So it keeps things fresh and your own audience builds under you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I was mentioning that because, of course, for people who are starting up, being DJ or starting in this specific sector, having differentiality, of course, it's positive, but of course, you need that research because otherwise, you have a high risk of getting to a specific point in music, and then you have no audience, right? So
Exactly.
The combination that you mentioned is obviously very important, and before you even start producing, because otherwise you'll be wasting the time of producing man hours in the track, and then you have no audience specifically for you to show it, right? So
Right.
that's the motive that I was mentioning, that because I think that's very important for someone who's just starting up, right?
Yeah. Anyone who's just starting up, I mean, you need to build that database and build those connections. And if I myself could be an outlet for you, I have mentored and, gave many labels advice on ways to improve their catalog, ways to improve their own production, just ways to improve their own brand awareness in the industry. And that's been one of my goals since I started.
You're already cooperating with major DJs around the world, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I've had support from David Guetta. Plastik Funk has remixed one of my tracks. He's a touring DJ all over Europe, Southeast Asia, and I'm currently got a couple more tracks in the pipeline that I cannot say, but
Yeah.
things are moving up, and just keeping moving forward. I've got Mr. Sid and Dave Ruthwell remix. I've got a lot of big collaborations and kind of new styles that I'm hoping that my fans and I think everyone will have an opportunity to
Sure.
like, okay, this I can resonate with. This gives me some light, so it's going to be exciting.
Do you have main concerts or events or a tour that you can mention what you're doing during the year?
During the year, mostly, I do try to get in since I'm close to Toronto.
Okay.
There's quite a few events and some companies that I work with here, so I'll get a couple bookings through the year here. I've got a couple other contacts out in Tampa and bookings that I have at some beach clubs that I look forward to in the summertime. I'm in the talks of a really, really massive connection and festival, world-renowned festival that
Yeah.
we're considering booking for next year.
Okay.
So that's exciting news. I can't say any names yet, but
No, no problem. Yeah.
it's yeah, and I'm looking forward to Amsterdam Dance Event. That's in October.
Okay.
Every year in October, they basically all the bars, all the clubs there, they turn into different label nights. Different
Yeah. Yeah.
event companies throw them on,
Yeah.
and all the artists, DJs, everybody comes in to
Yeah, Holland is very, very exciting because they're very, very creative in music there, and you find all types of, entertainment regarding any type of music. It's really, I mean, it's exciting for people who actually don't know. I always say it's a place where you need to go in some point in life, because
yeah.
if you're into music, for sure, it's a place for you to go. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Another one is Miami. That one's coming up. Ultra Music
Okay.
Conference. That one's coming up at the end of March. So about
I
a
was
month.
I was attending some ultras in Miami. I did attend before COVID. Yeah, well, that was my last one. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
how is that? You must have loved that.
it's awesome. I honestly recommend for everyone to experiment ultra at least once in your lifetime, and for sure you're going to repeat it over and over again. But it's definitely a very, very good experience. Definitely,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
So you have also a track that was put it live in Tomorrowland in 2023 with a DJ called DJ Jones, right? Can you tell us the name of the track?
Yeah, it's called Be Mine.
Okay.
It's actually Van Snyder and I, we got the vocals from Dave Ruthwell and Mr. Sid and
Okay.
decided to put a little spin mashup of it on our own, and it's basically tailored for a main stage crowd. And B Jones, with our relationship with her team, Ariba Music, she had a perfect blend to do Free-Fallin, and just she destroyed it and absolutely just killed the mashup. I think
let's show everyone for people to know what we're talking about. That was awesome. Congratulations for that. That was really awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Living on a Prayer, that's such a legendary track, and for her to mash that up with my track, it's such an honor. And for it to be played in that stage, that atmosphere, it's a dream come true. And I can't thank everyone kind of behind it and behind her team to put that together for us. So
how did you and Van Snyder came up with that song? I mean, how was the idea and how it all started?
We basically, so our main kind of sound, I don't know if you can kind of hear it, is like a groove. It's like a high-pitched short lead, but it's a very low end where it's a bass line that can ride. So we wanted to carry that signature sound of ours throughout this one, just because the vocals are they're very airy. They give you a nice atmosphere kind of feeling. So we wanted to make it really punch once the drop hit, and that lead, that main sound, that is kind of a main inspiration for us and could be a distinct sound for us. That we want to carry it through, and it was just an energetic kind of feeling that we always want to keep moving forward in our tracks.
Right. So about future tracks that you coming up, are you going to continue the same strategy that we've been doing? You're going to do something different? If you can share that or not, I'm not sure. If you can talk about a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with some, I've got a track coming out at the end of March. I've got another track coming out at May. Probably another couple tracks coming out in the summertime. One thing I am going to do, because my approach, once you have the network and you're able to build up a platform for yourself to give your music to and give other DJs, other curators, other like-minded tastemakers, you can kind of sustain your own vision for your music. So what I am on the route of doing is opening up my own record label. It's called Torok Music Group. It will be, for now, just releasing my own music. I won't be featuring any artists on it currently. I just want it to be something that is kind of special towards me and my sound. And then going forward, some label collaborations in the future. One with Blanco y Negro. They're in Spain, so they're a predominant label, produced a lot of hits, done a lot of amazing work. So I've got that one coming out in May with them. And the rest of the year we should we'll have to stay tuned to see what else
Are you
comes.
planning to play something in Ibiza or somewhere like known worldwide?
That would be the goal. I mean, if I'm willing to travel, I love experiencing new culture. I love just providing my story on a kind of sonic way of doing things and bringing people together. And if I can do that anywhere, if it's in Dubai, Ireland, Australia,
sure,
I'm willing to. I'm all up for it.
Nice, nice. What was the most significant moment in time that you can describe where you feel fulfilled in what you're doing, and the opposite? I'm just saying this for people to understand. Of course, perseverance is very important, and being persistent doesn't matter what you do or what sector you're working with. It's important to have it to achieve your goals, because it's not about failures. I mean, that you're never sure when you start something if it's going to be a success, right? So I always say it doesn't matter how you fall; it matter how fast you get up. And that's
So true.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's some super high points where we were on a tour and we were going for like a week straight and traveling from different cities throughout North America. And that was really fun, and experiencing different cities and just playing our music, doing what we love. Um, that was an amazing point. Building different connections with labels and kind of giving them an opportunity to grow their music, grow their catalog, and give them a space to find more audience and just a good listening that they will actually take interest in their music. So by doing this, you have to, like you said, you have to have perseverance, you have to have determination. And coming with all these, all the high points, there's a lot of lows where
yeah.
you're producing music, you're trying to get your music out to record labels, and it's hard for people to give you feedback, or it's hard for you to even get a reply back to see if you want your track signed, because it just might not fit the vision. It might not be what they're looking for at the moment. There's a lot of factors involved, and I like to say timing's everything. Again, and if you have the vision and if it's correlated, you can create the feeling to yourself that no matter what the outcome is, I'm gonna prevail, unstoppable. I'm gonna be able to power through. I need to keep moving on, because eventually one of these tracks are gonna get heard. One of them are gonna get, catch someone's ear. Maybe I'm gonna send it to the right email this time, or really, simplify my pitch, but keep it, simple to the point, but give him, a brief of who you are. There's just learning curves along the way. Once you fail, you can maybe tweak things to learn a different approach, and then you can, okay, this is how I can maybe build this relationship with this artist or this singer, or anyone who you want to work with.
So from the struggles you face, would you have done something different or in different way? And if you did, what do you think the market and general producers out there and major brands, how you think it could be more compatible for them to change something to make it more easier to work with, let's just say?
Yeah, it's a matter of, it basically comes down to the market research and to the research that you're doing, because if you're segmenting your music or your catalog to, let's say, hip hop creators, and you're a dance, really upbeat, heavy workout music, it shouldn't be going to hip hop creators or rock and roll creators. So it's really important to make sure your research is, in its lined, everything is organized. Take the time to actually settle down and realize what you're doing, because in the long run, it will save tremendous time. For instance, I just launched a website at the beginning of this year for my marketing agency. And I had to really organize all of my contacts over the last, 5-6 years of me building different relationships, messaging venues, promoters, curators, YouTube channels, artists, I had to take that database of over, 5,000 contacts and then organize them of who everybody is. And, those are the things that you have to do to set yourself up for success, to be able to align yourself to succeed. Because if you're not able to organize the data or organize your resources, you cannot effectively grow, because it's not going, your material is not going to the right people.
Right, right. And obviously, you face this, and that's how you find out how to start and organize your work, like you just said, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you see a lot of challenges where in the dance industry, and I mean any industry, for instance, you're looking to kind of stay ahead and keep researching and keep finding new opportunities. And you have to keep yourself engrossed in what's happening in the markets, what's going on in your industry, to be able to understand the trends of where people are going. If, excuse me, if people are going more towards TikTok, or if people are going more towards, Beatport for more minimal music, or, there's different outlets, Track Source,
Yeah.
which could be a great spot for house and tech house music. You really have to just take the time and realize where you want to position yourself, how you want to achieve it, and start kind of knocking down the doors to achieve that success, and position yourself with the people who you look up to, or the people who you see are charting, or the people who you see can get supported by the biggest DJs, played at the festivals. It's all about building that rapport with them, and just having that research to be able to provide something usable, something that they will actually be like, oh, I remember this person's name because of their music, or oh, this is a really good tool. This can help us, and we'll remember. Distinct things like that can really go a long way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you think in your capacity as expert in music, would you think that the market in music will change dramatically, or will continue as it is so far?
I think it's always going to keep evolving. There's always new ways to keep your audience growing, keep finding new people who may have never heard you. Um, Now the thing is we have to keep content fresh. We have to be able to keep content appealing where it's not stagnant, and I think that will be the biggest struggle, um, because content is everything, and you just have to be able to capitalize on capturing the audience, being able to hook them in. If you have a good track, and if you have good visuals behind it, if you have, a good story kind of behind maybe why you wrote the track,
Yeah,
all these things that can bring in the viewer or an audience closer to you, I think that will bring it closer, on marketing your music, on creating that direct relationship with your audience, letting them know who you are, letting them know what you're up to, and making them feel a part of your journey.
sure. In the end, it's about market quality, right? That's how you achieve your work coming out there, and how you actually done a story behind each track, and that evolves a connection with your audience, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the ultimate goal, is just connecting with them, being able to relate. And if I feel a certain way, I hope maybe a certain word in a vocal or something could ignite, a smile or a certain feeling
Yeah, yeah.
that they want to feel, really. So there's a lot of aspects that go into it, but you just do it because It brings you peace and, passion, and it could bring enlightenment to others, right? Music is such a powerful thing.
Your work has reached 172 countries. I mean, we have to think about that. Many countries have different, different culture, different religion. But in the end, you managed to do that, connecting with people from all over the world. How do you think, or how can you explain how you achieve that? Making people in so far away and with totally different mindset and culture to actually connect and be on that stream.
Yeah, it's honestly it's part of the grind. It's all
Right,
part of building your name, building your brand, kind of having your page or your music live for itself. Once you have quality music and other DJs or like-minded artists support you, it gets to their radio shows, then they play it across the airwaves internationally. This way, if you're driving your car, or you're on your way to the gym, or you're, going grocery shopping, you might be able to hear it. So being able to just hit different markets, hit different listeners, being able to understand that music is universal, being able to understand that everyone's looking for new music, new radio stations, new gyms, new shopping centers, new
right,
movies. There's so many possibilities out there. It's learning the avenues to get your music heard. And like I said, for me, my beginning starter was Spotify and learning what do I need to research on how to get my music to the world? What keywords? Who do I need to know? How do I pitch to playlists? How do I get on a playlist that has like almost 500,000 people following it? Like,
right,
that's crazy. And you have to build the groundwork. You have to dig the internet. You have to, if it's Instagram or different pages, different opportunities of just finding the connections, finding the audience, and finding, a possible fan.
right, right. So in the end, you really did an amazing work. I really give you congratulations for that because I mean music today is so competitive and achieving such a wide range and so worldwide. It's really amazing work.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Brandon. So I mean, is your agency open to work with other DJs? Can you explain, if yes, how you willing to cooperate with other DJs, and how will they reach you?
Absolutely. So my music agency, I just said I launched a website. It's www.torokmusicmarketing.com. Basically, it kind of shares my vision. It shares my story of how I started and the connections I built along the way. Now, at this point, I'm able to offer services. I'm able to offer guaranteed amount of streams. I'm able to give placements for people, YouTube views, provide SoundCloud exposure, anything basically in terms of music marketing. I can do, and I have been pushing for the last, I'd say, 8 years now. And I've been working with Insomniac, Spinnin' Records. I just acquired a really key client from Belgium,
Okay.
who I might be able to announce soon. Um, I'm just working with a lot of different agencies, a lot of different artist groups and management groups, and they rely on me. They trust my services, and I hope that I can just give artists an outlet to trust, give them an opportunity that they know they're looking to get their music exposed. They're going to go to Torok Music Marketing, and he will have it covered for us. And I go through extensive research. I make sure that the playlists we're using and the sources we're using are 100% legitimate, going through various tests, going through different, opportunities and
Sure.
scaling metrics and data. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I would never put somebody else's music where I wouldn't put my own.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
that's my biggest trust factor, and I just hope I can, change the world by giving more DJs, producers, an outlet for their craft and for their skill.
That's awesome. Really awesome. So, Brandon, where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years from now?
5, 10 years from now, I see myself looking after. I want to help a label of some sort, kind of build their network or build their foundation of an audience, build it from their catalog, and really understanding that I am solely there to push their music for Spotify and for movie and TV and sync opportunities.
Okay.
Those are the two avenues where I want to go with my agency. On the personal music side and personal DJ career side, I would love to fulfill my dream of playing at Tomorrowland. I would love to, possibly play in Ibiza, play in different parts of the world. Dubai
Yeah.
is definitely, you know, an interest of mine, and just spreading the love and my passion and what I can provide for like-minded artists. I just want to keep spreading that and hope I can change how people push their music, how people can understand a way to evolve with their music, if it's production, if it's marketing, if it's a certain way a certain audience or a market you're trying to achieve or capture, what to
Right.
do. So I there's a lot of things that I think I want to do, but it's realizing that I have to really channel in and hone on my most what I find I'm most passionate at and what I can give most value for. And I think that will just kind of speak over the next few years.
So, I mean, you're already building up, an amazing career. You already figure out, future, how you're gonna put yourself in and position yourself in the market. So it's really outstanding, and I think what is really important to share, for people to understand also in your sector, that requires a huge amount of organization and planning. I know to get over into the market, especially for people who are just starting in the music sector, right?
Absolutely. There's, so many things that's involved, so countless hours of research, marketing, building your own business, building your own brand. If it's for your own artist name, if it's for your own, business, whatever you can provide for somebody, or that's something that you're good at. It's all about building that name and making it sustainable and making it uh, really tangible, where people feel something from it, where they hear that name or they hear that brand and they know, okay, they are filled with, they've had integrity, they've had a journey along the way. This is kind of how we draw close to them. I think that's going to be the next important thing, is how businesses, how artists, musicians, um, event companies, production companies
Yeah,
can just keep bringing audiences in and keep their trust with them.
absolutely. That's awesome. So I really hope that you're going to be in Tomorrowland next year. And if so, for sure, I can assure you that I'm going to be there as audience.
Amazing. I'd hope so.
And I wish you all the best for that. I mean, that's what I can wish, and I hope you get it. And do keep me posted if so, because I definitely want to be there, as audience for this show.
Absolutely.
So, Brandon, before we finish, would you like anything else to add to the conversation?
I'd just like to mention that, I'm always here. My handle is torok.music on Instagram. Like I mentioned earlier, it's www.torokmusicmarketing.com.
Okay.
For any resources, if artists are looking for feedback, if they're looking for ways to market their music, ways to craft their music, any advice that I could give, I would be more than happy to. And I want to thank you also for giving me this opportunity and this platform. So thank you.
I appreciate it also. It's really my pleasure. I'm always open also to interconnect and share the voices out there and the experience for other people to learn from it. And thank you also for being here with us today. So before we finish, I always ask my guests to say a power message. So what will be your power message today?
Oh, my power message would be keep, no matter what comes in your way, keep determined, keep the energy, and keep your focus locked in on what you truly want.
Perfect. So with that, we finish for today. Brandon, thank you so much for being with us today. That was all. Appreciate all your listen. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.